Pete Fiutak. I hope you're doing well, man. Welcome into the game in T-Town.
Mr. Fowler, what's going on?
Man, I'm having an awesome day. Awesome day. Incredible.
Good. What? Good. That's how it's supposed to be.
Well, I mean, when you get down to like the 72-day mark, you're starting to kind of understand, hey, we're almost there. I mean,
Yeah, I'm not there yet. I still like the rhythm. See, here's my problem, and I can say this because it's just that time of year. Here in Chicago, it literally has not been warm yet. Like we had like the worst, rainiest May ever in this city, and today it's not going to get above like 55 degrees. I know you guys don't deal with any of this down there, but because it's not summer yet, I am not in mode. So I need to have a few weeks of like 81 degrees and then get into the rhythm of things, and then it becomes real football time. Yet it so far it just feels like spring around here, so I can't get my mind around it quite yet.
Well, you come on down here and get you some of this heat.
I know. I need it.
Yeah,
I'm ready.
In the great state of Alabama, we've already hit triple digits. We hit triple digits back in May.
Yeah, no, none of that. I mean, you're doubling up what we get. So I know it's anecdotal, but to your point, yeah, it starts to get a little bit fun now. I actually love this time of year. I love the research side of this. I love, the games are obviously the fun part about this, and the seasons when it really gets going, obviously. But this time of year, when you can kind of discover things and figure out, okay, this team's kind of going to be good, this team's going to be kind of bad, and to really kind of project this all out, and then hope that it all blows up and hope that there are a whole lot of surprises along the way.
Pete, we had a chance yesterday to go out to College Station and talk with Billy Lucci from Texags.com, and we were talking about Texas A&M because everybody looks at Texas A&M and says, hey, that's going to be the team that's going to throw up a roadblock in front of Alabama. Billy Lucci tells us, he goes, I don't think their schedule is going to allow them to get past 8 wins. Man, they've got a nasty schedule out in College Station for the Aggies.
Remember we said this last year about LSU? You remember you said, okay, well, you look at the season, oh, my God, you start the season with Miami, you still got to deal with Alabama, and Auburn's going to be good, and Texas, and you just go right on down the line, and Florida to deal, just all these different nasty games that the Tigers had to deal with, and they turned out to be fine. It's the eternal problem, though, and it's not just for LSU or Texas A&M, is that, yeah, okay, so where's your bar set at? Like, Florida's going to be good. Georgia's going to be good. LSU's going to be good. Auburn's going to be better. Who's going to be better? You have all these good teams, and not everyone can win the SEC championship. So, yeah, LSU was great last year. And they only, they didn't finish 10 games. Did they win 11? I can't quite remember. Same with Texas A&M. Okay, if they win 8 this year, all right. If they win 10 this year, all right. Doesn't matter. If you're Texas A&M, at some point you got to win the SEC championship, and that's where the bar's got to be set. So even if you lose to a Clemson along the way, all right, you can still beat Alabama. You can still beat an LSU along the way. But you're right, that schedule is absolutely nasty, but this team is going to be very, very good.
Well, let's go to LSU for just a couple of minutes. 10-3 last year. They returned 16 starters. They've got a quarterback, but can Joe Burrow be that guy that could take the LSU Tigers and really throw up that roadblock in Tuscaloosa? They've got to come to Bryant-Denny Stadium, which is one of their challenges. They got to go to Texas, which is the second game of the season. I think it's an outstanding game. It's SEC versus the Big 12, that brand against this brand. And, Tom Herman could get off a rocky start in 2019, and Coach O could find a way to get some momentum if they're able to get the job done in Austin.
Yeah, the key to Burrow is that he doesn't screw up. I mean, he's never going to be Tua. He's never going to be Trevor Lawrence. But he didn't throw picks last year, and that was exactly what you needed for that LSU offense is just keep things moving, ball out a little bit here and there, make your third down throws. And I know it gets labeled as the game manager, but absolutely with that defense that they have in place, they've got NFL talent at the skill spots. The lines are going to be good again. It's a very, very good team, and you have a veteran quarterback who, if he can go out there and throw, 24 touchdown passes, keep the interceptions to around 7 or so, he's doing his job. So, yeah, he's not the NFL talent that a lot of these other guys are around there, and this is a great year for quarterbacks in the SEC. Before LSU needs, yeah, he's good enough.
All right, so you've got LSU at number 7, collegefootballnews.com. He's got the LSU guys there, relative concern, pass protection, relative strength, secondary. But I want to go to a number here, okay? Pete, let me explain. We've got a Gator fan that calls us ever so often. He hates the University of Alabama. He called about 15 minutes ago, and he was all, talking Alabama. He hates Alabama, loves the Florida Gators. Why do you have the Gators number 4?
They're so good. I mean, if you look at what they have across the board, it's experience. There's not a real massive flaw from last year. And they don't have the talent level of an Alabama. They don't have a talent level of a Clemson, but they're just going to be a rock-solid team. And if you're assuming that Felipe Franks, if he can be as good as he was at the end of last year, he doesn't have to be perfect, but all the skills are there. And if the game slows down for him in his third year in a major role here, that team has a whole lot going for it. Their secondary is amazing. Their lines are good. They're going to be a power team. And remember, Dan Mullen won a whole lot of games at Mississippi State with a whole lot less than he's got there at Florida. So if you just look, where's the real screaming, glaring weakness on the Gators? It's just not there. So this is going to be a dangerous team that, it's going to be right there with Georgia in the mix to win the SEC East championship. And I loved them last year. I thought that was going to be the rebound team coming into last season. It certainly was that under Mullen. And now with what he's doing there, he's looking for take that next level step up and be one of the top 10, top 5 teams in the country.
You've got the Alabama Crimson Tide. Tua Tagovailoa is the best quarterback in the country. You hear that, Clemson? You guys may have the ring. We've got the better quarterback, according to Pete Fiutak, collegefootballnews.com. But, Pete,
which would you rather have, though?
Okay.
I'm sorry. Please, you were pumping me up. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to rain on your parade here. Go for it, please.
Okay. Trevor Lawrence, huh? Okay.
He's awfully good, but although here's the thing though, if everyone was eligible last year, Lawrence goes before Tua in last year's draft. But for right now, if Tua stays healthy with those receivers he's got, Trump's got some receivers too.
But
there's
Pete,
no arguing.
He plays in a league where he can rest up until January.
It's kind of nice though. It is. That is.
It's a luxury.
True, but it is a luxury. But, hey, both guys got a whole lot of talent around them to work with.
Okay, but I want to know something, okay? We all like the copy and paste feature on Microsoft Office, right? I mean, you like it too, right?
I don't. I've turned into a Mac guy, but of course, yeah.
Okay, all right, but you like the copy and paste feature on the Mac, okay, right?
Sure, okay.
All right, so you got the Alabama Crimson Tide. You got relative concern kicking game. Do you just copy and paste that year after year after year after year after year?
Yeah, you kind of have to. I mean, well, not last year, last few years, we got J.K. Scott punching the ball, but if it comes down to it, as soon as you trust your kicker, that's going to be a new one. So that's the one thing that over the last few years, you just have never quite had that elite level place kicker who you can just absolutely be sure of, and you haven't really needed them until the national championship a couple of years ago. But yeah, you're right. That's a rather rinse repeat thing for at least the last few years. But the punting game too, without Scott anymore, that's the thing as well.
Well, Pete, but you go back to it. It changes the way you call the game. If you know your kicker's not very good, and you know that you got to score, it changes the way you call the game. It also changes the way opposing defenses defend you.
Yeah, well, when you're 45-3 in the first half, it doesn't necessarily matter. But you're right. When it comes down to it in those big key games, what are you going to do if you can't quite rely on your guy, at least from 45 and in? So that's why sometimes if in the college game more than the pros, I mean, everyone's got the same kicker in the pros, so there might be a little bit of variance here and there. But I've always been shocked that there's not a bigger emphasis on finding and getting the top level recruits for kicker and punter, because you can just see how these guys can just completely change a game. Because you're right. If you got a guy that you can rely on and say, okay, we are just inside, 45, 42-yard line, 42 yards or so out, yeah, you can go for it. And those guys are just worth their weight in gold. And some teams have them, some teams don't.
Pete, I want to go back to Michigan here for just a couple of minutes, man. This seems to be a trendy pick when we talk about Michigan being a real considerate. You got them at number 8. Why?
They're awfully good again. I mean, they were there last year. I mean, I know, ifs and buts, but they went into that Ohio State game with the puck on their stick with a chance to go to the college football playoff. They would have beaten Northwestern, and they would have been in had they won that game. Now, of course, they got absolutely destroyed. But you still have a great defense, even without Devin Bush, even without Rashawn Gary. even without Chase Winovich. That defense is still going to be amazing, and the offense is going to be better. Like, you remember way back in the day where you used to get a new head coach and you say, we got a 5-year plan. It's going to take us a full recruiting cycle to get the talent level up to where we need it to be. Well, here's where you're at with Jim Harbaugh. And it's kind of happened. Now you finally have a quarterback in Shea Patterson who's been around for a while, so you've got some continuity at the position. You have the receiving core that was a big-time group from the recruiting class a couple of years ago maturing and ready to go. And you have a little bit of a tweak to the offense where they're going to start to air it out a little bit more. So now you've got more of an offense to go along with that great defense. And you're right, Michigan's going to be right there. They're going to be very, very good once again.
How far can Jalen Hurts take Oklahoma? They only returned 3 starters on the 3 or 4 starters on the offensive side of the football. How far can Jalen Hurts take the Sooners?
Since we're talking here mid-June, I reserve the right to change things up because, again, not warm here yet, so I have not thawed. I think that there's a chance. Think of it this way. They didn't get to the national championship with Kyler Murray or Baker Mayfield, and now you got a guy who has been there and has seen it all. I almost think, well, no, he's not going to be the passer those two guys are. I think he gives them something different and that edge that they've been missing. That's not to say that Murray and Mayfield aren't players, and they certainly did everything they could to get very, very close to getting to the national championship. But you know, it's better than anybody. You got to be a different guy. You got to have a different mentality, a different mindset to have been Nick Saban's starting quarterback as a true freshman. And their but for a pick play by Clemson, he's the historic figure there at Alabama with the national championship after that great run he had a couple years ago for a touchdown. He came through obviously in the clutch in the hero role last year off the bench. Played the good guy when he benched for Tagovailoa. He's just got that sort of makeup, and the best part about it is it looks like he's kind of got the offense down. He's an accurate passer. He's just not the big-time bomber. So I think he's a difference maker. And it kind of under the theory like the NCAA basketball tournament where all you can reasonably do is put out great team after great team and eventually you're going to catch their breaks. Well, with Oklahoma, with Alex Grinch as defensive coordinator, you got the switch at quarterback. You still have all the talent. I think this is the year they get there and at least get to the national championship. I think they get to the college football playoffs and finally play for it all again this year.
All right. Tom Herman doesn't have a lot of starters returning, but he does have a quarterback returning. When you look at the Longhorns, you also put a little value and a little stock in the Longhorns. You think they're going to be a top 10 team?
Well, the rankings we do to start the season is based on how good the teams are going into the season, not necessarily where they're going to end up because you obviously have schedules a whole bunch of other parts of this. I am not 100% sold on them. Tom Herman's been great when he's in that sort of nobody believes in us underdog role and us against the world sort of thing. But his history is, with Houston, and they had everything there for the taking, and then they go out and lose to UConn and Navy. Or last year where they had everything there and they almost gacked it all the way against Kansas. I think they lose to LSU. I think they lose to Oklahoma. And even if they don't lose to Oklahoma, they probably lose again in the Big 12 championship. They're going to be really good, but I think they're going to end up being like 9-3 good as opposed to college football playoff level good.
Pete Fiutak, collegefootballnews.com, collegefootballnews.com. If you love college football, if you need that football fix, you can find it collegefootballnews.com. And I know a couple of days ago we talked about this, preview 2019 Alabama. 5 things you need to know, season prediction, and more. And I'll give you a little bit of hint. One of the things that he labels in here, Tua Tagovailoa has got to stay healthy. Tua Tagovailoa, man, if he's not healthy, the Tide's in trouble.
No, you know what, though? And I was on with a Georgia thing this morning, and there's a difference, though. That's kind of for everyone in the grad transfer era. But you've obviously won with Jay Coker. You've won with some okay talents in the past at quarterback. You can be fine. Compared to, like, where Clemson is if they lose Trevor Lawrence, or if Georgia's if they lose Jake Fromm, at the very least, yeah, there's a problem, but I don't think the season goes into the tank like it does for some of these other top teams.
Pete Fiutak, have an awesome week, and we're wishing the warm weather will arrive in Chicago very, very soon. You guys can unfreeze up there in the Windy City. Thank you again, Pete.
Later, Ryan.